So arguably the most intensive part of all this is just putting the seeds together. So one thing that I tried to do is preload my containers. So I know I'm going to be using, for test C, I'm going to be using 6 containers. So 3 for the triplicate for the reference water and 3 for the triplicate for the soil elutriate. So I'll just preload these and have them ready to go. And you can do this with as many seed, preload these cups as you can, and then you're always ready to go with a batch of tests. So this is the time intensive part. So load up a bunch of seeds there. Count out 10. Do it sideways so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so there we go. That's the amount of time it took to load up 6 tests with 10 seeds each, ready for test C. Okay, for test C, we're going to make an elutriate out of a sample. So typically you'll go on the field and you may collect some sediment or some soil, and this is we're going to make an elutriate of 1-to-1 of the soil with our reference water. And you can do this in any number of ways. I'm going to use my wife's measured little dish, and I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup of soil and then fill it up to half with water. But you can use a cup, you can use any kind of container for this example. If you're in the field, you can grab an extra jar and mark it halfway or so, like that, and fill that with soil and leave this open for your reference water, and then you can mix the whole thing. That's one way to do it. You'll need at least about 1/3 of a cup. Because if you're going to run this in triplicate on your reference and on your soil elutriate, you're going to need some volume. So about 1/3 of a cup is about what you want to go for. So let's do this. And I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup of this sediment sample. Okay. And I'm going to fill that halfway up. So there's an equal part, and I'm just going to mix it like this. And we're going to let this settle. We're not going to put this with the seeds. So we're going to try to get it would be almost like a SPLP. There, I got it really mixed well. I'm going to let that settle out, and then we will use the Elutriate to run our replicates for the field sample, and we'll run a triplicate with the reference water as well, side by side. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. You should be good to go. All right, so I'm going to decant some of this. Actually, it go right in there. Let's go right into our field samples. All right, go right into there. I'll label these field 1, field 2, field 3. And get a reference dish. And we'll do our reference. Clean this off. See, they're trying to clump together, so I'm kind of breaking them apart a little bit. Do the same with these. And there we go. Label these as reference. R1, R2, R3. There we go. Okay, so now you can store them in your Ziplocs or in your trays or whatnot and let them go for 5 to 7 days or longer. We'll see how it goes. That's what Test C is all about. Okay, I'm going to show you just in a real world application, like when you're going out, if you have a half a jar of your soil or sediment, so that's your first part. Your reference water, your second part. And put the lid on. And then you can really get the lid on tight. You can really shake it up. Should have cleaned it off, but you get the idea that you can really get a good elutriate and then let that settle for 24 hours. And we will sample this part for the test.